Yo, what's up? Soul Control here, back at you with another video. You can Twitch me at Soul Control 1. You can TikTok me at Soul Control 1. And check out Gaming Kaiju, because we are for the people. And shout out to my man D Jackson, my homeboy Cronus. And check it out. We got a lot to get into. And what I wanted to get into was his tweet from Bigbird FGC. And he said this about Street Fighter 6. He said, one of the things that pissed me off about this game, I don't mind Drive Rush being strong and hard to check, but at least let me punish it if I'm 100% looking for it. Not put me in a mix-up because of 2 buttons. And he said like 4 dashes in Street Fighter 5 were very similar, fast and hard to check, but at least if you were ready, you can check it. And so it got me wondering this question, like, is there too much complaining in fighting games? Right? I can remember complaints going back to 09 in Street Fighter 4. And you know what one of those big complaints about Street Fighter 4 was? That the game was too hard, and racially speaking, because this was true, that the game of Street Fighter 4 remained to the Japanese, right? And I remember back in 4, that was one of the biggest reasons why Evo was as big as it was. Before COVID and before Street Fighter 6, before the pricing of these tournaments to watch, what made Evo was Street Fighter 4. And I'm going to do a video on that, right? And I might as well talk about it, because basically it was the Japanese versus the Americans, right? Because the Japanese was very good in Street Fighter 4, and they were looked at as a culture that optimized and maxed out what Street Fighter 4 was. And so what ended up happening, because this is basically the origin of why Street Fighter 6 is what it is today. And so the origin from that was when Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out. You can start putting 2 mediums together. Now in Street Fighter 4, I don't remember, being able to put 2 mediums together, at least without an EX or something. If you did, it was probably something to jump in, medium kick into a medium low or something like that. But in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, 2 mediums was just as quick as 2 jabs, because the American, especially the casual base, said that Street Fighter 4 was just too hard. And so when you looked at Evo and you looked at the OG player base, like you had Smug, who else? You had Chris G that was playing Street Fighter 4. You had, at that time, Knuckle Dude was playing Street Fighter 4. PR Balrog was playing Street Fighter 4. And then when you look at the Japanese side, who was looked at as total guys, of course you had Daigo, Mago, Takedo, Itabashi was playing, Nemo was playing because he played with Lento. And then to throw a Korean, then you had Razor Infiltration. And so it was amazing to see, how can they make such a difficult game, make it so to the point where only the geniuses can play, where it's just like, if you're a casual, these guys will wipe you out. But to maximize and optimize the game, a Street Fighter was converting crazy combos, frame traps, and setups. It was like the game of chess. But because the casual base, and I really put this on the American base, said that it was too hard, the chess became the checkers. Because we need more sales. So if my American casual base don't want to pick up my next Street Fighter game because it was deemed too hard, then there needs to be an adjustment, and an adjustment has to be and they don't want to play ranked, by the way, because playing ranked in Street Fighter 4 was miserable. But then you come to find out later that ranked in Street Fighter 4 or any game in Street Fighter 5, 6, any game, Guilty Gear, Tekken, even City of the Wolves, the minute you go to rank, Mortal Kombat, anytime you go to rank, it's mirrors because there are people that's just plainly going to be better than you. So the psyche behind this is make my game easier. And the way you do that is give them easy access to combos. Give them something where I can put the opponent in stun, get some free combos, get some wall splats in. Okay, how can I give them easy access to a Dizzy? Not to mention that once these fighting games come out, people are going to do tutorials. People who are going to say, look, this is how you use this character properly for easy setups or unblockables. And so, why is it such a surprise that, based off what I'm saying, this is what Street Fighter 6 has become? Let's give them something much more than the EX bar. And the driver system is almost unlimited access to an EX bar. I remember when I was playing Street Fighter 6 for a little while, I will always get drive impact. I will always get DI just for throwing the jab. And I said, what is this? Or if I do a jump in kick, DI. To cut down on zoning, a lot of the people were talking about zoning. I don't like how zoning is in Street Fighter. A guy can zone me out. A Sagat can zone me out. So what can I do to get around that? DI. Focus attacks, right? In Street Fighter 4, go back to the hardest game. What could you do against zoners? In Street Fighter 4, you can just focus. Bigbird, that's 2 buttons. Do you know that? When the pros lose, and I hate to give him this type of credit, they make LTG look like a prophet. Because what does he complain about? And a lot of people don't want to bring that up because they don't want to say his name. His name is taboo. But he's been saying this for the longest. Why don't people like Mortal Kombat? They feel like Mortal Kombat is just, Mortal Kombat 1 that is, it's just too easy access of a game. As Cronus will say, you're only as good as your assist. Right? And so when you look at a game like Street Fighter 6, the sales must go up because I want my casual base to enjoy the game. But what sometimes baffles me is how dare a guy who is the best in the world call a game trash that's legit feeding them, but you're playing it and you won't stop. Mena RB complains, and I have him on my Mount Rushmore, Punk, the guy, complains and he's on my Mount Rushmore. Right? These two players in RD and Punk will always complain about how bad Street Fighter is because they don't like losing. Losing is miserable in any game. In any game. Especially when you're streaming. Listen, I play Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight has been way more simpler for the killer to get 4Ks. Why do I say that? A lot of gen defense, camping and tunneling. The killer itself gives people wins. And so when I'm streaming, I can go on 430 win streak as killer. When your best player gets trolled and beat by a casual, or when they really want to win that $1 million or $30,000, your game is trash, but you are the best in the world. Don't you believe, people, that somebody like Punk or RD could probably go on a 50 game win streak? Would I put it past them that they go on let's just say a 50 win streak per day, or a 20 game win streak at least per day? I would believe that. They're champions. They're top 8. How many games can Kaba win in a row? Hell, I'm still a daddy. How many win streaks do you think he can go on per night? Because he's better than the average. So, while these guys say this, I say go back to Street Fighter 4. Can one make an argument that focus attacks was a problem? I mean, if we really want to have a discussion about DIs and drive rushes, I mean, a good El Forte, you can't breathe, man. A good Akuma, even an Adon, in focus, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that some will make the argument and say these are two different games because one was harder than the other, but one still had a strong mechanic. And as a matter of fact, they added even more mechanics. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Right? You know, like in BBD, for me, I would have to tell the pros, pick a character where you can get around it. Or, you can do like we did in Street Fighter 4 and 5. Check YouTube. Alright, everybody. That was my time. Thank you so much. Make sure you Twitch me at Soul Control 1. TikTok me at Soul Control 1. Check out Game and Kaiju. Shout out to my man D Jax and my homeboy Cronus, because we are for the people. Alright, love you guys. Peace.